In this movie, I'm going to show you how to make a card using PowerPoint. Now keep in mind that the card is actually going to be printed on one sheet of paper on one side. You will actually use 4 PowerPoint slides though to create it. So by default, when you open PowerPoint, as my screen shows here, the first slide is always the title slide. So I'm going to leave that slide there, but I am going to add 3 other slides. The first one I'm going to add is going to be a blank slide. We're not going to add any text or any pictures to that one. Slide number 3 is going to be our picture slide. And slide number 4, I'm going to use the title only slide because I'm just going to be typing the text. This is where the meat, the content of my card is going to go. So I'm going to head back up to the first slide, and this slide will end up being the first side of the greeting card. There are a couple of ways you can do this depending on the age, grade level, and skill of your students. So regardless, you won't need both of these text boxes. So if you have students that prefer just to simply type in the text box, they can simply type thank you and then adjust the font, the size, and all of those sorts of things. So I'll make this a little bit spiffier here. Oops. I'll put a little fill in and maybe make that a little bit bigger and bolder, and then we'll go to the next slide. I would recommend making that fairly large, and you'll see why here as we go to the next slide. Slide 2 is actually going to be blank. I should mention, if you didn't want to if you wanted to get a little fancier and didn't want to mess with that, you could actually insert word art instead of using how I just did. So if you wanted to have your thank you card out of word art, you would obviously delete this first text box and add the word art, but it depends on how you want it to look. And so again, you can fiddle with that and get your artistic talents flowing. So I'm just going to use the basic one though. So I'll get rid of this and move my other one back down. Again, like I started to say, the second slide is going to be blank. It'll actually end up being the back side of the greeting card. The third slide is where I'm going to add my picture. So PowerPoint 2010 does have that little icon in the middle where I can simply click on that, and I'm going to add an astronomy picture because I'm going to write this to environmental ed and tell them thank you so much for the fabulous things they did for us with the planetarium and teaching us about astronomy. I would also recommend that you make your pictures large and fill up the slide. These pictures could also be pictures that the students drew. Maybe they used an art program like Sumo Paint or Kapoof or something like that, and they save them as a JPEG and then bring them in to the PowerPoint. Slide number 4 is the meat. This is where you're going to write your message. So, dear environmental ed, and I'm going to take that off as centered. Blah, blah, blah. You write your message there. And so as you type, the text box will increase in its size. So again, we have the 4 slides. First one has the thank you. Second one is blank. Third one has the picture. And then the fourth one has the message. So the next part is printing. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to File and Print. And you'll actually want to, and I've already selected this, but you're going to want to select 4 horizontal slides. And there are a couple of things you can look at here. If you want to have frames on your slides, notice the difference over on the preview. I don't like that when I print it. I don't like it at all because ultimately after you print it, notice how the date shows up here and the page number. You're going to want to cut those off. And so it'll make your card a little bit more square as well. But 4 slides horizontal is actually what you're going to want to print. And then when you print that, after you print it and cut it, you'll fold it into fourths, and so your card is going to be beautiful with the message on the front, the picture, and the content. One last thing I just realized I forgot to tell you was back on your first slide, one little trick. You do have to rotate this. I apologize for not mentioning that earlier, but it does need to be rotated so that when you print it, it will be right side up. So don't forget that little doodad, and I bet your card and your students' cards are going to be beautiful. I hope you enjoyed the movie, and I hope this helps you.